Included clauses allowing Leonard to do nothing, yet still collect payment. That's the Kawhi Leonard I know. Doing nothing and getting paid for. I said, believe it or not, some of this is believable. Man that did New Balance commercials and the kids spoke, Molly. The kids. He didn't say a word. I've seen them go up to him and need him to sign autographs and fraternize with the public when he was sitting behind on the bench collecting about $40+ million and he wouldn't do it. So he has spent years doing absolutely, positively nothing.
Welcome back. Hey, y'all. Recently, the internet went wild after reports linked Kawhi Leonard to a jaw-dropping $28 million fraud scheme. And just when things couldn't get crazier, Stephen A. Smith stepped in, dropping bomb after bomb about what's really going on. This isn't some small scandal. We're talking secret contracts, fake endorsements, and NBA power moves that could shake the entire league. It all started when journalist Pablo Torre dropped an investigative nuke on September 3rd, 2025, that had everyone's jaws on the floor. Torre's report uncovered Kawhi's alleged involvement in a $28 million no-show endorsement deal. A setup so shady that insiders are calling it the biggest salary cap workaround in NBA history. Torre and his team dug through over 3,000 pages of court files and spoke to 7 former Aspiration employees, and what they revealed could ruin careers. They spilled everything, from fake invoices to secret checks that allegedly let the Clippers quietly cheat the system without breaking league rules outright. Now let's talk about the sketchy company at the center of it all, Aspiration Pictures. It was marketed as this trendy, eco-friendly bank promising to save the planet by planting trees. Sounds wholesome, right?
Ever see proof of Kawhi Leonard marketing or endorsing Aspiration in any way?
Never, not once. The single largest payment to an individual for marketing that Aspiration ever made has completely evaded all press. It's honestly incredible. Nothing. You didn't have to do anything.
In other words, Kawhi Leonard got from Aspiration a $28 million no-show job.
Yeah, it's amazing. I'm honestly so jealous.
Wrong. The company was faker than a $3 bill. Aspiration raised a massive $865 million, hit a valuation of $2.3 billion, and pulled in big names like Leonardo DiCaprio, Robert Downey Jr., Drake, and even former Clippers coach Doc Rivers. But the truth, straight up chaos. The company's co-founder, Joseph Sandberg, ended up pleading guilty to wire fraud in August 2025, admitting to defrauding investors out of $243 million. Just a month later, the company filed for bankruptcy, and that's when all the dirty secrets started spilling. And right in the middle of that storm, Kawhi Leonard. In April 2022, he signed a deal with Aspiration through his own business, KL2 Aspire LLC. But here's where it gets sketchy. While other celebs were out doing commercials, interviews, and tree planting stunts, Kawhi was nowhere to be found.
It says that Kawhi Leonard was getting $28 million, quote unquote, for a no-show job, end quote. That sounds just like Kawhi Leonard. No-show job. No-show job. Don't have to show up, don't have to do a damn thing. That sounds exactly like Kawhi Leonard. Exactly.
No posts, no ads, no charity appearances, nothing. His only public tie to Aspiration was a random Clippers tweet on his birthday in 2023, saying they'd plant trees for every retweet. That's it, a single tweet tied to millions of dollars. And if that wasn't wild enough, insiders say Kawhi's contract had clauses so bizarre that even lawyers were stunned. Rumor has it those clauses let him collect massive checks without lifting a finger. While the company crumbled behind the scenes, the deeper this story goes, the messier it gets. And if Stephen A's hints are true, the NBA might be staring down its biggest off-court scandal in years. Leonard's contract was wild. It literally said he could decline to take part in any company activity and still get paid millions. That's not a deal, that's a golden ticket. And here's the real smoking gun. The payments only kept flowing as long as Kawhi stayed a Clippers player.
Me.
You're one of the richest men in America.
They conned me. I made an investment in these guys thinking it was on the up and up, and they conned me. At this stage, I have no ability to predict why they might have done anything.
Come on now, that's not even subtle. It's like waving a red flag in front of the NBA. According to Pablo Torre's bombshell investigation, multiple former Aspiration employees came forward saying they were explicitly told the deal was made to circumvent the salary cap. One employee even admitted they were told to stop asking questions about it because, quote, it was to get around the salary cap. The sheer nerve. It's unreal. And then there's Steve Ballmer, the billionaire Clippers owner worth a jaw-dropping $173 billion. Torre's report revealed Ballmer personally invested $50 million into Aspiration. Not long after, the company magically announced a $300 million sponsorship deal with the Clippers in September 2021. That timing, way too perfect to be random. Even Spider-Man's senses would be tingling at this point. But hold up. Torre's follow-up on September 5th exposed something even crazier. An extra $20 million side deal. That brought the total close to $48 million, almost perfectly lining up with Ballmer's $50 million investment. You expect us to believe that's a coincidence? Please! This was a setup dressed up as a sponsorship, and everyone's starting to see it. Behind all of it was Kawhi's uncle, Dennis Robertson, the man who's been running Kawhi's business dealings since day one. And let's not forget, this isn't his first time pulling shady strings. Remember back in 2019, when Robertson allegedly demanded wild perks during Kawhi's free agency? We're talking part ownership of teams, private jets, and other extras that had the NBA investigating. They didn't find proof back then, but now those same tactics are back in the spotlight. And once Stephen A. Smith got wind of all this, he absolutely lost it. This was the moment he'd been waiting for, and he went straight for Kawhi's neck. On First Take, September 3rd, 2025, Stephen A. didn't just critique Leonard, he obliterated him on live TV. He called Kawhi a walking absentee on the ballot and said the report makes perfect sense because it fits his entire pattern, getting paid for doing nothing. Stephen A. reminded everyone that Leonard has missed over 40% of his games since joining the Clippers, all while cashing checks worth over $43.3 million a year. The man's getting paid like a superstar while barely touching the court, and now it turns out he might have been pocketing millions more off the books. The internet's losing it, and honestly, who wouldn't? Stephen A. Smith wasn't done, not even close. He tore into Kawhi's entire image, saying the man does absolutely nothing to promote the Clippers or engage with fans, not even on his own YouTube show. Smith doubled down, breaking down every shady contract clause and saying the language sounded exactly like something Kawhi would demand. The whole thing screamed of someone wanting superstar money without superstar effort. Smith didn't just come for Kawhi, he roasted him. He pointed out that while other NBA superstars go all out with interviews, public appearances, charity events, and media days, Leonard stays silent like he's allergic to publicity. No fan meetups, no talk shows, no brand energy, just straight up ghost mode. Yet somehow, he still expects the fame, the money, and the perks that come with being the face of a franchise. Stephen A. then dragged Uncle Dennis back into the fire. He reminded everyone that Dennis has a long history of demanding outrageous perks for Kawhi, and this deal with Aspiration looked like another one of those moves. According to Smith, the pattern is crystal clear. Kawhi's camp always finds ways to make the biggest bag with the smallest amount of effort. Then came the knockout blow. Stephen A.'s most brutal line of the day. He said, Kawhi Leonard basically held the Clippers hostage and blackmailed them into giving up assets, only to miss game after game for years. He added that when the story broke about Kawhi getting paid millions for doing nothing, it didn't surprise him one bit. That's exactly who Kawhi's been, he shouted on air. And the receipts? Oh, they're damning. Records show KL2 Aspire LLC, Kawhi's business entity, was officially registered on November 22, 2021, just weeks after the Clippers announced their partnership with Aspiration. Then, by April 1st, 2022, the $28 million deal kicked in, complete with quarterly payments scheduled through March 2026. But here's where it gets messy. Aspiration's bankruptcy filings later showed that KL2 Aspire LLC was still owed $7 million. That means Kawhi's company already pocketed part of the money before the whole thing collapsed. Those filings exposed that the payments had started, but the deal got cut short when Aspiration's empire came crashing down. Once Pablo Torre's explosive report dropped, all hell broke loose. The NBA world went straight into chaos mode. Timelines on fire, fans arguing nonstop, and analysts dissecting every detail. Within hours of the story breaking, the NBA had no choice but to respond. NBA spokesman Mike Bass made it official, announcing, "We are aware of this morning's media report regarding the LA Clippers and are commencing an investigation." Boom! That statement hit like a thunderclap. The league knew they couldn't ignore this. Not when an MVP caliber player was now being tied to a $28 million fraud scheme. The silence around Kawhi's camp grew even louder as everyone waited for a response. But if there's one thing we've learned, it's that when the quiet ones finally speak, the shockwaves are massive. Let me tell you something. When the NBA moves this fast, you know it's not just gossip anymore. It's serious business. The league doesn't jump into investigations overnight unless something smells real bad. And fans, they've completely lost their minds online. Over on X, yeah, Twitter's new name, people are going absolutely crazy. Lakers fans, still bitter that Kawhi ditched them for the Clippers back in 2019, are having the time of their lives clowning him. Some are even saying, that's karma coming full circle. It's messy, hilarious, and downright ruthless. Meanwhile, Reddit is on fire too. The r/NBA threads are packed with debates. One post alone racked up over 880 votes and 300 plus comments. Fans are torn in every direction. Some are demanding the NBA throw the book at Kawhi, saying this kind of scandal deserves real punishment. Others are questioning whether Kawhi even knew what was going on, suggesting his infamous uncle Dennis Robertson might have handled all the dirty business behind closed doors. One user summed it up perfectly, saying, whether it was Kawhi or his team asking for under-the-table deals doesn't matter. The cap isn't for players to manipulate. It's for owners and GMs. That comment alone lit up the thread. And then there are the Toronto Raptors fans. Oh, they're having mixed emotions. Some are heartbroken, saying, reverse time to 2019 and make him stay in Toronto. Adam Silver, you coward. While others are just sitting back like, we got our ring, we're good. It's wild seeing how one player can divide entire fan bases all over again. But make no mistake, this investigation is no joke. The NBA's legal team is reportedly digging into potential violations of Section 13 of the collective bargaining agreement, the part that strictly bans any outside payments to players beyond what's written in their official contracts. That's the kind of rule you do not play around with. If these allegations turn out to be true, the punishments could be brutal. We're talking multi-million-dollar fines, possibly up to $7.5 million, forfeited draft picks, contracts getting voided, and even year-long suspensions for executives involved. That's career-ending territory. Commissioner Adam Silver has said it before. Salary cap circumvention is a cardinal sin of the NBA, and he wasn't joking. The league takes this stuff dead serious. If Kawhi's deal is proven to be part of an under-the-table setup, we might be looking at one of the harshest punishments in modern basketball history. Just think back to the 2000 Timberwolves scandal with Joe Smith. They lost 5 draft picks and paid a $3.5 million fine for their shady side deal, and that was nothing compared to this. Kawhi's alleged $48 million scheme makes that old case look like lunch money. The league's reputation is on the line, and with this much money and power in play, you can bet Adam Silver won't let it slide. This could turn into a storm that shakes the entire NBA to its core. Steve Ballmer isn't taking this lying down. The Clippers' billionaire owner is ready for war. On September 4th, he appeared on ESPN SportsCenter looking furious but composed, claiming he'd been conned by Aspiration's founders. Ballmer told reporters, "We were misled, plain and simple. The Clippers didn't create this deal. We got dragged into it." He swore that the team only introduced Kawhi to Aspiration after both his contract extension and the sponsorship agreement were locked in, trying to make it clear that the franchise had nothing to do with any shady side deals. Then out of nowhere, Mark Cuban, former owner of the Dallas Mavericks, jumped in to defend Ballmer. He took to social media and said the whole scheme didn't even make sense given Kawhi's ACL injury in 2021 and Ballmer's massive wealth. Cuban asked a fair question. Why would a billionaire like Ballmer need to cheat the system for a player who wasn't even healthy at the time? Cuban went further, pointing out that Aspiration's bankruptcy alone showed something wasn't adding up. If this was an intentional scam, he said, why would the company tank itself? He suggested Ballmer might have genuinely been defrauded, a victim in a much bigger con. But journalist Pablo Torre wasn't backing down. He publicly responded, inviting Cuban to join his podcast to debate the receipts face-to-face, instantly cranking the drama up another notch. The situation turned from a scandal into a full-blown media circus, with billionaires, athletes, and journalists all trading shots. And here's where things get even juicier, because if you know Kawhi Leonard's past, this scandal fits right into his long history of controversy. Let's rewind a bit. Back in the 2017 to 2018 season, Kawhi's messy exit from the San Antonio Spurs nearly broke the franchise's soul. Fans were furious. Some were even threatening to burn his jersey. That season, Leonard played only 9 games due to a quad injury, but the real chaos was behind the scenes. Leonard's personal doctors clashed hard with the Spurs medical staff over his recovery timeline, and what started as a simple injury spiraled into a full-blown trust disaster. Things exploded in March 2018 during a heated players-only meeting where frustrated teammates, including Tony Parker, confronted Kawhi directly, urging him to return to the court. But then Parker made that infamous dig that changed everything. He said his own similar injury was 100 times worse, but that he recovered faster. That one line lit the fuse. It torched Leonard's reputation in San Antonio overnight. Fans turned on him instantly, calling him soft, selfish, and disloyal. That ugly chapter set the tone for the rest of Kawhi's career. Secretive, distant, and constantly surrounded by rumors of power moves and control. And now, with this $48 million scandal blowing up, it's starting to look like history's repeating itself, just on a much bigger, dirtier stage. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share to stay in the loop with all the latest tea. Hit that notification bell so you never miss an update, and I'll catch you in the next video.